All right. Hey, man. How you doing?
Good,
Thanks,
man.
guys, for checking out another episode of the Mostly MMA podcast. And today I'm here with Tim Sylvia. Dude, it's awesome to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just down on the farm, just chilling, man, relaxing this weekend. And the fiance's birthday, so her family's coming down. And, excuse me. Just gonna relax and have a good time.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if you could tell us about your injury that you got going on.
Well, it's kind of been bothering me for a little bit of while now. Over a year, I guess. And then when it first started happening, I was kind of concerned and approached a doctor that did it. And he goes, man, that should be coming under workers' comp. They paid for it the first time. So I went there and he took some more x-rays and contacted the UFC and said, hey, we have a problem with the first surgery. The screws are backing out. We need to go in and remove the plates or whatever. And they're like, well, that's not our problem. There's my son. That's not our problem. He doesn't fight for us anymore, so he's on his own. All right, I'm doing an interview. Gotta go. So, where is she? Okay, what's she doing? She's fine. Leave her alone. Sorry. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, I just don't really have the money to spend out of my pocket to do this right now. So I contacted a lawyer, and they took upon the case and found some things out that the only way I could pursue this any further was to get a lawyer in Vegas, and I just don't have the time to do that either. So basically on my own. So fiance just decided to do a GoFundMe and kind of taken off. So.
I found that kind of odd because I have a friend who she got injured working for the UPS, and they had to cover her injury. Well, many years later, that injury acted up again. UPS didn't want to pay for it. She sued them, won a big settlement. I would assume that the UFC would be liable for because that happened in the Frank Mir fight, and that was on company time. You would think that you would just think they would have to pay for that.
I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that Dana and I don't get along, and he's basically just saying piss off.
Out of curiosity, when's the last time you talked to Dana?
After the Nogueira fight.
And so basically, your screws are coming out.
Yeah, the screws are coming out my arm on the outside plate, and it's just causing a intrusion where it keeps getting busted open and it's getting infected and stuff. So I went Tuesday for emergency surgery to pull it out.
Did you say Tuesday? You go in Tuesday?
Yeah.
How long of an operation are you looking at for something like that?
No idea. I didn't ask. I just want it done over with. It's just getting so long. It hurts all the time and stuff. So.
How long have you been having pain from this? I know that's an injury that happened a long time ago. And
yeah, I mean, the injury happened in 2004, but I mean, ever since I started training again, whenever if I blocked a kick or, I got hit really good with a punch here, it always hurts. It gives me a stinger and I have to stop for about 15 seconds to get the feeling back, so it's kind of always bothered me.
Yeah. One thing about that, when you injured your arm, you didn't even tap. Frank Mir got you in that lock and you didn't even tap. Herb Dean was on the Joe Rogan podcast actually talking about that fight. Yeah, and I don't know if you know it or not, but that was one of Herb Dean's very first title fights.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, I'll read a quote from Herb for you. Herb Dean, Herb recalled thinking to himself, in my mind I was thinking, it's been great being here, but I'm not going to be doing this anymore.
Right.
Because at first when you got your arm broke, you contested it because you didn't tap. And so Herb actually thought, oh, man, I really just messed this one up.
Screwed up.
Tough guy, man.
He did a good job.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. So what do you think the surgery is going to cost? Did they give you a price range?
Well, they said it's going to be anywhere around 15 to 16 grand. So I have to, I got to pay 10 grand on Tuesday before I can even step into the hospital. And then after that, they said I can do a payment plan. So
I was curious, Tim, out of a fighter's fight purse, what percentage does a fighter really bring home?
Well, I mean, let's say you make $100,000. So 50 of that automatically has to go into a savings for taxes. That's what I did anyway. Every time I fought, half my purse went into my taxes, and then you have to pay your management 20% and your gym 10%. So there's 30% right there. I mean, at the end of the day, you walk away with 20%.
Right. Jeez. I don't. People don't really realize that. I know I
No,
didn't.
they don't. Everyone's like, man, you made millions. I made like $2 million over 16 years.
Hmm.
I mean, that's
Right.
so half of that was gone to his taxes, and then 1/3 of it went away to. So it's really not a lot of money, and when you don't have a job, that's the only thing you rely on.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody that spent their stimulus check like that
Right.
can relate a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, what would you say to a fighter who might be in your situation in 10 years? You a fighter right now that maybe 10
I
years
think the
from
fighters
now.
right now really need to pay attention to this. Pay attention to the way I'm being treated. Pay attention to the way John Jones is being treated, the way Mazadov's being treated, and just try to. The thing is anybody will fight in the UFC if they get a contract. They don't care.
Right.
They're not thinking about the end game. They're not thinking about what the hell's going to be like in 20 years
Hmm.
after they sport. But I mean, I just think the UFC should take care of anybody who gets hurt in the cage, like Mark Hunt. Mark Coleman. Look at all the stuff that he went through,
Yeah.
with his hips and stuff like that. And that was all from training over all the years. But a lot of the UFC fights. Now, the one good thing I can say about the UFC is when Matt Hughes got hurt in his car accident, they actually put him back under UFC payroll, and
Really.
they're taking care of all of his medical bills and everything.
Nice.
But I mean, my broken arm is peanuts compared to Matt Hughes' situation. It's a big deal. So that's the only thing cool they've done is but Matt's always been a company man too. Matt's
Right.
always been on Dana's right hand man, and I never was.
Yeah. Did you say the doctor said that you might actually would have to amputate the arm if you didn't get that fixed?
No, he didn't say amputate. So
Okay.
what he said was, if we let this go any further, I'm afraid you can get a bone infection, and what can happen from a bone infection is you can go with amputation. So I mean, if I waited 6 months from now, yeah, I mean, absolutely it could happen, but we're getting in right away so that this doesn't happen. But I mean, if I let it go, absolutely. Because I mean, I'm fortunate enough that where, everyone's like, why are you begging? I'm not begging for nothing, first of all.
Right.
My fiance is the one that did this. Do I have 10 grand in the bank? Yeah, I got 10 grand in the bank. But I also have, $2,500 in payments a month with mortgages and cars and insurance and cell phones. And I have a 9-year-old son I got to take care of.
Yeah.
So, she just kind of, and 3 dogs and a cat, my son says, and 3 chickens. So, at the end of the day, my fiance talked me into doing this. She's like, Tim, just let me do this GoFundMe. And if you have a lot of diehard fans out there that'd be willing and happy to give you, $5 here, $5 there, every little bit adds up and every little bit helps. And that's kind of we're at the point right now where they're we're in a situation where they're making this financial. I'm sorry, my son, Mav, stop shooting the Nerf gun at me and the dogs. Okay, well, I'm doing an interview, so stop, please. Good luck. I'm getting Nerf bullets shooting by me. But they're taking this burden out of my hands.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long I'm going to be out of work for either.
Right.
I'm hoping not more than a week. So.
Yeah. No, you're definitely not begging. I'm the one who requested the interview, so. Yeah, I definitely don't see you as begging. And honestly, this is the UFC should be covering this bill. They should have stepped forward. And I know I've seen it.
Somebody sent me a post yesterday that they asked Dana White during the press conference about this. He's like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. They go, well, Tim Sylvia thinks is asking you to pay. He's like, he's asking me to pay? They're like, no, well, the UFC. He's like, why should we pay for it? He fought for us, it's been 15 years, right? I mean, why? I mean, how long has it been since he fought? Why do we got to pay for it?
Because it's on company time.
Right, exactly.
And they're so wealthy too. It just seems greedy, honestly.
It is. I mean, and we know that Dana White drops how many tens of thousands of dollars on blackjack. He's been
Yeah.
known to tip the blackjack dealers $10,000 chips when he leaves. I mean,
Jeez.
I know for a fact, I've been there present with him before, what he spends in the strip clubs. I've
Really?
seen him drop 30K in a strip club before. So
Jeez.
yeah.
Uh, Dana said this year that the UFC is looking to lose like $100 million from not having a gate. What do you think about those kind of numbers? Does that sound accurate to you?
Sort of way. Well, I mean, if they're having, a show a month, one show a month, what do the gates make? Like 4 or 5 million a gate?
Something like that. I think he said the Ferguson gate should have made $5 million.
Okay, so if you're doing that, say one show a month, that's 20 million a month. And what he said, that doesn't add up. That's only 20 million a month. If they have
Right.
one big show a week, because some of the shows are fight nights and stuff like that. So if they have
Yeah.
one big show a week, that's only 20 million a month. So in 5 months, 100. Well, I don't know.
I guess it'd come out about something, but they should be getting some kind of kickback from ESPN, shouldn't they?
I'm sure they get a huge kickback from ESPN. Yeah.
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 Hey, why do you think that a union's never made its way into MMA?
Because all the guy fighters in their prime are not going to stand up yet. They're in their prime. They're making the big money. And when they actually leave and when they're no longer in their prime and they're no longer the big pay-per-view stars, they don't have that much power.
Right.
Right now is with John Jones and Mazarov kind of throwing up a stink right now. Now would be an amazing time to do it. But the problem is let's just say Jones steps away. You got two jackasses who are willing to step in his place and fight for the title and not even think about John Jones.
Right.
When at the end of the day, I mean, it's really not doing anything for him. It's doing stuff for the guys in the future, 25 years from now. And people are just not looking at the big picture.
One thing that's changed since when you were fighting, Tim, is now all main events are 5 rounds. What would you think about that if you were still fighting? If you were in a main event that was not a title fight, would you want those extra 2 rounds?
I always had great conditioning, so it didn't bother me.
Right.
I enjoyed the 5 rounds, and I had plenty of steam. But I mean, I think you need to be compensated for that as well. I mean, that's 10 more minutes of beating you, putting your body through.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope.
And that's less turnaround too.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try to fight 4 times in a year, 3 times in a year, if you're going to fight 5-round fights, that's maybe going to drain another fight out of you.
Absolutely.
Which maybe make a little less. I know that a guy like Jose Aldo, at one point they wanted him to be a main event, but it was going to be a non-title, and he was just like, no, I don't want to be the main event if I got to fight 5 rounds and I'm not going to be paid extra.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah. Hey, another thing that's different is we've got women in the UFC now. Since you guys were fighting, what have you thought about that addition to the UFC?
I've seen some great women fights before. I just can't get past the idea of a woman getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
I just, and then the worst part about it really is watching a fight at B-Dubs or a bar or something and hearing assholes. Can we swear?
Yeah.
Hearing assholes in the back, punch that bitch in the face, kick her ass. I'm like, dude, you're a dude. Why are you saying those kind of things about a woman?
Yeah.
I can't get behind that. And some of the girl fights, I want to say maybe only 25% of the girl fights I kind of really enjoy because they have the killer instinct.
Yeah.
Like when girls have that killer instinct, I like that.
Right.
It's nice to watch. But I'm like Roxy. I love the girl. She's a great person, and she's a good fighter. But she has no killer instinct, and she has nothing behind her punches. When she's like on top of someone, where she's just like hammer fisting as fast as she can. Now, Cyborg in that position, that girl's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I love Miesha Tate. But she never had that killer instinct, versus Ronda did. These girls are, girls out there trying to take your head off, and every punch they're trying to hurt you. You
Yeah.
know, I like that. That's how you know I think they're a true fighter, and they didn't just get into the sport because their boyfriend did it and they wanted to be around him more.
Yeah. I know that Joanna Jacek and that
Yeah,
Will Day that I'm sorry, I don't remember. I can't pronounce her name. The Chinese lady. Uh,
yes.
oh man, that was a killer fight. That
Those
was
girls can fight. And like Rose Namajunas, she has killer instinct, you know.
yeah,
Cyborg, you know, Amanda Nunes, those girls are legit, and they can
yeah,
beat up some guys in the UFC. So,
yeah.
but not guys the same weight. It has to be guys, you know, a lot
I
smaller.
know Jermaine Durandamy actually knocked the guy out in like a Muay Thai fight or whatever, KO'd him.
I don't know who that is.
She fought Nunes last. I think she was Nunes's last fight. GDR.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, she did pretty good. Hey, what do you think a company like Bellator or someone would have to do to actually compete with the UFC? And do you ever see one of these companies really giving UFC a run for their money?
I love Bellator. You know, Bellator just takes care of the fighters so much better. Especially Scott Coker's a great guy, and he really cares about the fighters. But I don't think anybody out there really wants to compete with the UFC. I don't think they want to do what the UFC is doing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's saturated the market and it's made for cards that nobody really cares about. You know,
Right.
back in the day when I was fighting, we had 6 fights a year, and every single fight on the card you wanted to see, and you
Yeah.
knew every name that was fighting. You were excited before I even fought. I was like, oh man, UFC, we can't wait for the next UFC, and then you find out who's fighting. It's like, oh, you know, all 10 fights or whatever. You're like, you're
Yeah.
so excited to see. You can't wait
Yeah.
to see them, and you knew every name. Like now, you know, there's a card. I might know 2 or 3 fighters. That's it.
Right.
Follow a sport. I enjoy the sport. I watch it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
guys that get into UFC and they have like a 3-0 record. What in the?
Yeah.
I was 15-0 when I fought the UFC.
It does seem like nowadays they're like, oh, here's a fight night. We'll just give them a main event that's halfway decent, and then
Yeah.
water the rest down.
Well,
You're right about
it's
that. The cards
oversaturated.
used to be better. What is it?
It's oversaturated now.
Yeah, definitely. The cards definitely
It's
used to
no
be better.
longer a cream of the crop A-level fighters. You know,
And more divisions, more belts, more. Hey, how would you react to fighting in an arena with no crowd like they're doing right now? How would that affect you?
I mean, the whole reason why we do this, we love to fight and we love the roar of the crowd. I mean, we're entertainers. We like to entertain. That's why we do it. That's why I did it. Um, and I never had a problem here in my corner the whole time I was fighting. Like, I always blocked out the crowd. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely strange and weird. It might be
Yeah,
actually, it's probably a little bit of an easier fight to do it when you're not in front of a crowd.
right. Uh, does it bother you that you're not in the Hall of Fame? Because you're a 5-time champion.
It's
And
Dana
kind
White.
of
I mean, I don't. It's the Dana White Hall of Fame. It's not the UFC
yeah,
Hall of Fame. The fans know I belong there, so that's all that really matters. They know
definitely.
I'm justified because of it. So is Jens Pulver. So is Frank Shamrock. I mean, the fans know.
Yeah, I think you and Stipe might be tied at the heavyweight division for
We
the
we,
most.
we are right now. Yeah, he'll break it. He's a stud man. He's a friend of mine. We train together, and he'll break it, which he should. I hope he does.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is a very good guy.
Hey, speaking of the Hall of Fame, you fought a guy like Randy Couture back in the day. I was wondering, what do you think a guy like Randy Couture, how would he do in today's heavyweight division?
Randy wouldn't do well in today's heavyweight division.
So what about 220 pounds, something like that?
No, I think it's kind of surpassed him now.
Mm-hmm.
His style worked really good back then when we were all fighting stuff, but it wouldn't anymore.
Well, let me ask you the same question. How would Tim Sylvia do today in today's heavyweight division?
Like if in my age or my prime,
In your prime,
I think my prime would be fine because I'm a striker with great
right?
takedown defense. You know, so um, top 10. I don't know how well like I said, I trained with Stipe and I know how good he really is.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well I do against like styles make fights. Like Cain Velasquez is a wicked tough fight for me. Really, so is DC at heavyweight.
Yeah.
I have the punchy power, so if I catch him, they'll go to sleep if I catch him clean. But those guys are tough fights for me. And Stipe can fight that way too. He did it against Francis, whatever his name is.
Nagano, yeah.
Yeah, he did. That's how he fought him, relentless, and took him down and made him guess the whole time. And so those three are wicked tough fights for me. But DeSantos would be a great fight for me. Francis would be a good fight for me. Mark Hunt would be an awesome fight. They're just such great, entertaining fights.
If you were fighting today, who would be the guy that you would love to fight in the division that you would?
Francis.
Francis, man, that guy's a freak. When you look at it, he's got like a 17-second knockout, a 22-second knockout. It's insane, that guy.
I'd like to fight him and Alistair Overeem still. Those guys.
Are you surprised that guys like Arlovsky is still around?
Man, I am, man. He still finds a way to win.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Definitely. Hey, when I was doing some research on you, man, I found an episode of Blind Date. I was wondering, how did you come about getting on a show like that?
That was the UFC's doing.
Really?
Yeah, the UFC did a whole week of Blind Date.
Okay.
Me, Wes Sims, Pete Spratt, Josh, over at Bellator, Josh
Barnett?
No, Josh Thompson.
Okay.
And I don't know who the other one was. It was 5 of us. They did this all week long.
Okay. Did you ever see that girl again?
Never, and thank God. Nasty.
That chick was an alcoholic, wasn't
they literally ask you have to fill out a survey before you do it. And I know now, and I'll tell anybody if that show was ever around, if they do another survey, lie on the survey. Do not tell them exactly what you like and don't like. Because whatever you don't like, that's the girl they're trying to pick for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely.
So
they don't want the date to go good.
That makes sense, because you guys were clear opposites. She was just like this party girl. And
yeah.
That was interesting. While I'm on the topic of relationships, though, I seen that you actually had proposed at a concert to your old lady.
Yeah, we're engaged.
How did that go? Was you nervous getting up there doing that? It was actually at a concert, right?
Yeah, Brentley Gilbert, yeah. No, I wasn't nervous. I mean, Brentley's a good friend of mine, and I've been in front of 20,000 people before many times.
Yeah.
So, standing in front of the crowd and talking is not that big a deal. And Brentley's brought me up on the stage before at a couple other different concerts. So is Tyler Farr, Rascal Flatts. They're all my good friends.
Nice.
So it's not the first time they brought me on stage. So
nice. Hey, what do you think about a guy like Mike Tyson coming back? He's talking about coming out and doing some like exhibition fights or something, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to fight an older guy.
I've always been a Tyson fan. He's gotten in shape, but he's still 55 years old. I mean,
right.
If it's a real true fight where adrenaline comes into play, what's his cardio going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I never heard that bare knuckle boxing offered him a pretty big contract. Rumors was he might fight.
Bare knuckle boxing gets him, then bare knuckle boxing will probably get me. So we'll see.
What did you say?
I said if bare knuckle boxing gets him, then they'll probably get me as well.
Get your arm fixed, man. Come out and make a second run.
Exactly. Well, that's the only thing I could do with bare knuckle boxing. I mean, my knees suck, so I can't get kicked in my knees. My takedown defense is not what it used to be, and if anybody is smart, they're gonna take down a 6'8" striker.
Right.
If somebody's willing to stand in front of me and throw hands, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Right. Have you been doing any training or coaching?
The only thing I coach is my son's wrestling team in the fall.
Your son's what?
Wrestling team.
Okay.
We do that, and then training is just lifting weights or whatever. That's it.
Hey, what did you do with your belts, Tim? Did you hang them up or?
They're downstairs in trophy cases.
Nice.
Two of them. I sold one of them to a upcoming MMA museum.
Oh, really?
Yes, I still have two, but I sold one.
What do you think about the new design belts? I like the old ones better, to be honest.
I like the old ones better, but the new ones are cool. They're different.
Yeah. I feel like the old ones got the legacy, though.
I agree.
Nice. Hey, what are some of your favorite fighters right now to watch? of any
Stipe,
division.
I love Stipe. Cowboy Cerrone, Ferguson, Genchi. I mean, he's the shit right now. Big John
Gates.
Jones fan. John Jones. I love John Jones' fighting style, and I enjoy watching him fight. His outside stuff I'm not a fan of, but
Right.
I'm just talking about watching people fight. Um, Amanda Nunes. I like watching her fight. Um, Obviously Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith's a buddy of mine. I enjoy watching him. That last fight with Glover was tough to watch. Glover's a friend
Mm-hmm.
of mine as well. So, yeah, those guys definitely.
I know this question gets asked a lot, man, but who do you think's probably the GOAT, the MMA GOAT?
John Jones.
John Jones? What would you say about Fedor? Where would he rank? Would he be up there?
Fedor's definitely up there, yeah. I just think John Jones is a better athlete, and he can do more things. And if he hadn't gotten in trouble with all the law and stuff and all that bullshit, I don't think there'd be any question him being the greatest.
Yeah.
He's still got a good run left too. I mean,
He's only like 32 or something like that.
So he's still got 3 or 4 years left in his prime.
Yeah. Do you think he's serious about giving up the belt?
And I think he's made so much money now where he can get away with doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And who likes to hear a piece of shit like Dana White talk shit about people when he won't do it to your face? He's going to do it in interviews and stuff like that. But when you're face to face, he won't speak to any one of those fighters like that. He never spoke to me that way. But whenever, in interviews or I was in another country, another state away, he wants to talk shit, You just can't go around treating people like that, especially fighters, man. Guys that'll beat your ass.
Yeah. I know he ran off Cyborg basically doing that.
Yep.
Hey, Tim, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna put your GoFundMe link up in the description and hey, where you want to tell them your social media?
Tim Sylvia MMA 1 on Twitter and Instagram, and my Facebook is just Tim Sylvia.
All right, hey, man.
I have a hunting show, on the Sportsman Channel, and all of our links for my hunting show are the Hit Squad Outdoors with Tim Sylvia.
All right, hey man, this was really cool, dude. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge MMA junkie, man. I've been watching for so long, and watched all your fights. It's so cool to get to chat with you and talk to you for a minute and catch up. I wish you the best, man. I hope everything goes great.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate what you're doing for me.
All right, thank you, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, bye.